Hi guys, it's Grandma. I got another story for you today. This is the story of Zachery Zween. It's by Mabel Watts and illustrated by Marilyn Hafner. This is one my grandparents read to me. There's the in papers. This is from 1967. To Bill, who followed me all around London while I followed Zachery Zween. Albert Ames went first each day because his name began with A. For A to Z was the rule of this particular London school. A to Z, boys, said Miss Midge when walking over London Bridge. As Albert headed up the line, he said, "First place is always mine. I am first on walking tours and games because I have the best of names." And who came last? Poor Zachery Zween. So envious his face turned green. Yes, Zachery Zween got most upset and angry at the alphabet. In class 'twas A to Z for spelling, for history and storytelling, for recess and arithmetic, for jumping in the gym. 'Twas Albert first and Zachery last. Nobody came after him. With lessons over for the day, the teacher often led the way. Across a meadow called a mead, behind her came the boys with speed. And Albert Ames was in the lead, but who came last? Why, Zachery, see? Because his name began with Z. Sorry, this hasn't been read in a while and the pages are sticky. Out to Hyde Park, last in line, Zachery sailed his boat on the Serpentine. Last in line to Marble Arch and famed Trafalgar Square, last to sit upon the lions that guard the statue there. But Albert Ames went first each day, because his name began with A. When to the Queen Al carried roses, he had the most upturned of noses. And he was first to feed the swans that float along the river, first to wander through the tower and give a little shiver. And first in line to see the palace and the place where the March Hare first met Alice. First to see the changing guard, and first indoors while hailstones hard poured down on Zach out in the yard. To make a fuss, Zach thought is silly. Who wants to be a whining Willie? Since Zachery Zween is my real name and always will remain the same, why not make going last a game? Being last meant last, and yet a boy could find a horse to pet along the way, and then catch up to pick Miss Midge a buttercup, or help a helpless little cat, or other useful things like that. See the cat at his ankle? Being last, Zach saw just how the sidewalk artist drew a cow. A speckled fish, or grapes in a dish, or anything that you might wish. Being last, you run or trot on gravel paths or grassy plot. You find out what is what, and likewise what is not. One day they walked too far afield, almost half the way to the Weald. The boys were tired and it was late. Miss Midge was in a dreadful state. "We can't return on foot," she said. "We'll have to take the train instead." Each boy found a seat inside where he could rest his feet and ride. The train stood puffing on the track. There was room for everyone but Zach. Each coach was filled from door to door, and no more trains till 4:30. Poor Zachery was filled with gloom. Each coach was packed, there was no room, until the guard, a friendly man, said, "Ride with me, son, in my van. Come follow me and be my guest." "I'm so excited," Zach confessed. Albert Ames rode way up front, as cross as he could be. Zach rode in the back, for luckily his name began with Z. He rode in the guard's van at the end, and as the train went round the bend, he helped the guard apply the brake. He shared the crumpets and his cake. What a ride, oh what a lark! When they got home, it was quite dark. "Being last I'd like to be," said Albert Ames quite sulkily. "For after all is said and done, you look as if you'd had great fun." "I did indeed," said Zachery Zween. "And never more will I turn green, because I can't go first like you to Hampstead Heath and London Zoo. Will I be envious? Not at all, when we go marching through them all. No longer will I get upset and angry at the alphabet." After that, through fog or drizzle, Zach was never known to grizzle, which in London means to grumble loud as any thunder rumble. An A to Z is still the rule of this particular London school, and Albert Ames goes first each day because his name begins with A. And Albert Ames goes first each night to brush his teeth and light the light. And who goes last? Why, Zachery, see? Because his name begins with Z. With his position quite content, he makes each day a great event. "Good things comes last," declares Miss Midge when walking over London Bridge. And all the boys clap long and hard for Zachery, their strong rear guard. Well, that was always a favorite for me from my grandparents. It's all set in England, which means things are a little different. A van is a caboose on the train. I know it's tough right now. Remember, Grandma loves you.